Every week, 98% of American households buy meat. They check the price, maybe glance at the color, and toss it in the cart. What almost none of them do is read the fine print, and that's exactly what these stores are counting on. The meat aisle is one of the most carefully engineered sections of any grocery store. The lighting is tinted to make everything look fresher. The packaging is pumped with gases to keep that bright cherry red color weeks longer than it should last. And the labels are covered in words like premium, all natural, and butcher quality. Words that sound reassuring, but mean absolutely nothing under federal law. I went to 8 of the biggest grocery chains in America: Walmart, Kroger, Aldi, Target, Costco, Trader Joe's, Publix, and Whole Foods. And I looked at what they're actually selling you. Not what the branding says, not what the marketing promises. What's on the USDA beef grading stamp, what's in the ingredient list, and what they'd rather you never noticed on the back of the package. Out of all 8, only 2 are worth your money. The rest are playing a game most shoppers don't even know exists, and by the end of this video, you'll never look at the meat aisle the same way again. To understand what's happening at these stores, you first need to understand the one system that's supposed to protect you: USDA beef grading. The United States Department of Agriculture grades beef into 3 main tiers that consumers see: Prime, Choice, and Select. The grading is based almost entirely on one thing: intramuscular fat, also called marbling. The more white flecks of fat running through the muscle, the higher the grade. Prime has the most marbling. It's the richest, the most tender, and while it used to be rare, it now makes up around 12 to 17% of graded beef, a number that's been climbing fast. It still commands premium prices, and most of it flows to high-end restaurants and select retailers. Choice is the next tier down. Moderate marbling, solid flavor, and it's what the majority of grocery stores carry, though many of them won't make that easy for you to figure out. Then there's Select. Leaner, tougher, noticeably less flavor. It's the cheapest to produce, and its share has actually been shrinking, now falling below 9% of graded beef as producers chase higher margin grades. Here's what matters. USDA beef grading is voluntary. The packer pays for it. And when a store decides not to display the USDA grade shield on the package, they're not breaking any law. They're just making it harder for you to compare. That's where the game starts, because when you can't see the grade, you have to trust the store's own branding. And that branding is where the real deception lives. Walk into almost any major grocery chain and you'll see it. Meat wrapped in sleek packaging with names that sound like they came from a boutique butcher shop. Kroger has private selection. Walmart sells something called Market-Side Butcher. Target uses Good and Gather. Publix has Greenwise. These names are everywhere, printed in clean fonts with earthy colors, and they all share one thing in common. None of them are USDA grades. They're store brands, house labels, marketing language designed to make you feel like you're buying something a step above without ever telling you what grade the meat actually is. In most cases, when you dig past the branding to find the actual USDA shield, you'll discover it's Choice. Sometimes it's Select, rarely is it Prime. But the price almost never reflects that. Take sterling silver, which you'll find at stores like Kroger and some Albertsons locations. It sounds premium. The packaging is elegant. But sterling silver is a brand name owned by Cargill, one of the big 4 meat packers that process the vast majority of beef in this country, alongside Tyson Foods, Jabes USA, and National Beef Packing Company. Sterling silver is certified to the top 2/3 of USDA Choice and Prime, which sounds better than a straight Choice label. But here's the thing. A comparable program, Certified Angus Beef, also known as CAB, sets 10 documented quality specifications to earn that name, and is widely available at the same or lower price points. So when the sterling silver branding implies you're getting something exclusive and the price tag adds a noticeable premium per pound over the store's regular Choice offering, you're paying for a name, not meaningfully better meat. This is the pattern. Stores take the same USDA grade that sits 3 feet away in the case, dress it up with proprietary branding, and charge you more for it. They're not lying, technically. They're just making sure you never ask the right question. What grade is this, really? The grading trick is just the first layer. Flip that package over, and there's a whole second game happening on the back label that most shoppers never check. Start with the phrase enhanced, or contains up to 15% solution. That means the meat has been injected with a mix of water, salt, sodium phosphate, and sometimes natural flavoring before it was sealed. The store is selling you water at meat prices. On a $5 per pound package of chicken breast, that means you could be paying 75 cents a pound for salt water. According to USDA data, about 30% of poultry, 15% of beef, and 90% of pork sold in the United States is injected with some kind of liquid solution before sale. The only way to know is to read the fine print that's deliberately printed in the smallest font on the label. Then there's the packaging itself. Most grocery store meat is sealed in modified atmosphere packaging, which replaces the oxygen inside with a blend of gases, typically carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. That carbon monoxide bonds with the myoglobin in the meat and locks in a bright red color that can last for weeks, even as the meat ages past its actual freshness window. The meat in your hand could be days older than it looks, and you'd never know from the color alone. And then there are the claims that sound meaningful but aren't. All natural, on a meat label, under USDA rules just means minimally processed, with no artificial ingredients or added color. It says nothing about how the animal was raised, what it was fed, or whether it was given antibiotics or hormones. Humanely raised means even less. Without a third-party certification backing it up, there's no legal standard behind those words at all. These are marketing words filling space on a label, giving you a feeling of quality without any verifiable standard behind them. One more thing that almost nobody checks: country of origin labeling, or COOL. Federal law requires that the country where an animal was born, raised, and slaughtered be disclosed on certain meat packages. But COOL requirements have been rolled back for processed and commingled products, and many stores make that information genuinely difficult to find. Knowing whether your beef was raised domestically or imported and processed matters for traceability, and the stores that make it easy to find that information are telling you something about how much they actually value transparency. So with all of that in mind, grading transparency, label honesty, solution injections, country of origin disclosure, and real value for what you're paying, here's how all 8 stores stacked up, ranked from worst to first. Starting at the bottom, number 8, Walmart. This might be the most popular place to buy meat in America, and that's part of the problem. Walmart's standard meat case is dominated by its market-side butcher branding, which sounds artisanal but is entirely case-ready, pre-packaged by outside processors like Tyson and Cargill before it ever reaches the store. Some of their beef carries a USDA choice grade, but the branding makes it harder to tell what you're getting without checking each label individually. Their poultry is heavily enhanced. Flip over a pack of Walmart chicken breasts and you'll almost always find that contains up to 15% solution line. The prices are low, but when you factor in injected water and inconsistent grading transparency, the value isn't what it appears to be. Number 7, Target. Target has tried to position itself as a step above with its Good and Gather line, and the packaging certainly looks the part. But behind the clean design, the meat case is thin. Limited cuts, limited variety, and the same grade-obscuring pattern. Most of their beef is choice at best, and their poultry carries enhancement solutions just like Walmart. Target is a fine store for a lot of things. Meat isn't one of them. Number 6, Aldi. Aldi deserves credit for keeping prices genuinely low, and their Black Angus beef actually carries USDA choice grading, which puts them ahead of what most people expect from a discount store. But the trade-off is transparency in other areas. There's no butcher counter, sourcing information is minimal, and the selection is narrow. You can find solid cuts at Aldi if you know what to look for, but when it comes to knowing exactly where the meat came from and how it was raised, Aldi gives you very little to work with. Number 5, Kroger. This one might surprise people because Kroger is one of the biggest grocery chains in the country and they carry a wide selection. But Kroger is one of the worst offenders when it comes to the branding game. Between Private Selection, Heritage Farm, and Sterling Silver, they have layers of house brands that all obscure the actual USDA grade. You can find good meat at Kroger, but you have to work for it. Reading past the marketing, checking for the actual grade shield, and watching for enhanced products mixed in with non-enhanced on the same shelf. They make it deliberately hard to compare. Number 4, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has a reputation for quality, and their sourcing standards are genuinely a step above most conventional stores. They carry antibiotic-free options across much of their meat case, and their labeling is cleaner than most. The downside is selection. Trader Joe's meat department is small, the cuts are limited, and if you're looking for specific grades or larger portions, you'll hit a wall fast. They also don't prominently display USDA grades on most packaging, leaning instead on their own brand trust. That trust is more earned than at other stores, but it's still trust instead of transparency. Number 3, Publix. Publix is a strong regional chain, and their meat department is better than most. Their butcher counters are staffed, their standard beef is mostly USDA choice, and their Greenwise line offers legitimate antibiotic-free and organic options with actual certification to back it up. Where Publix loses points is on the same branding game others play. Their house-branded meat still sits over a standard USDA grade, and their enhanced poultry is common in the value packs. Close, but not quite clean enough to crack the top 2. And now the 2 stores that actually passed. Number 2, Whole Foods. Say what you want about the prices, but Whole Foods is one of the only major chains in America where the label actually tells you the full story. Their meat standards ban added hormones and antibiotics across the entire case, not just in a specialty line. They require third-party animal welfare certification across their entire meat department, specifically through the Global Animal Partnership Program. That's the tiered Step 1 through Step 5 Plus rating system. And by the end of 2026, every product must display a certification seal, with the specific GAP step on the package. The USDA FC's inspection seal is visible. Sourcing is traceable. Country of origin is clearly disclosed. Enhanced meat with injected solutions is essentially non-existent. You are paying more, there's no way around that. But at Whole Foods, you're paying for the actual product, not for branding, not for saltwater, and not for a name that sounds premium but means nothing. And number 1, Costco. Costco does something almost no other major retailer does. They print the USDA grade on the label, clearly, every time. Their standard beef is USDA Choice, and their prime selection is real, verified prime, not a house brand dressed up to sound like it. They don't enhance their beef with solution injections. Their Kirkland Signature line is one of the most transparent store brands in the industry, backed by sourcing standards that Costco enforces with their suppliers, including verified domestic sources like Harris Ranch Beef Company for much of their West Coast supply. And because you're buying in bulk, the per-pound price on genuinely graded, non-enhanced meat is often lower than what other stores charge for inferior product wrapped in better marketing. Costco won't give you a boutique butcher experience, but they'll give you an honest label, a real grade, and actual value. In this ranking, nothing else came close. Here's what it comes down to. The meat aisle is not designed to inform you. It's designed to reassure you just enough that you stop asking questions. The branding, the lighting, the language, all of it exists to create a feeling of quality so you never look for proof of it. But now you know what to look for. Check for the USDA Beef Grading Shield, not the store's house brand name. Read the back of the package for solution percentages. Check the country of origin labeling if traceability matters to you. Be skeptical of words like premium, natural, and humanely raised unless there's a certification seal backing them up. And understand that the color of the meat in the case is engineered, not earned. 2 out of 8 stores passed that test. That's not a great number. And if you watched our video ranking eggs from these same stores, you know the pattern isn't limited to beef. The grocery industry has spent decades getting better at selling you confidence instead of quality. The only defense is knowing what you're actually looking at. If this changed how you'll shop, share it with someone who still doesn't check the label. And if you want to see us put dairy, seafood, or produce through the same test, subscribe, because that's exactly where this series is going.